because of you. I may have struck the blow, but you... you are the one that killed her.
Welcome to Real Dash. Today, we are diving into the incredible career of one of Hollywood's most iconic and versatile actors, Willem Dafoe. Dafoe has played unforgettable roles from Platoon to The Lighthouse and was the memorable Green Goblin in Spider-Man.
Hello, my dear.
He has an astonishing range and powerful performances, but he is yet to win an Oscar. So, is Willem Dafoe the GOAT of Hollywood? Let's find out. But before we begin, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you can get more insights into film legends like this one. Now, let's get started. Willem Dafoe is one of those legendary Hollywood careers that have unmatched versatility, intensity, and style. Dafoe, who was born in 1955 in Appleton, Wisconsin, didn't exactly start out on the road to Hollywood. Rather, his journey started from the experimental theater scene.
Willem Dafoe.
In the late 1970s, Dafoe spent time with one of America's most experimental theater companies, Theater X in Milwaukee, before going on to co-found New York's Wooster Group. For nearly 3 decades, this avant-garde troupe became his artistic home, laying the groundwork for his creative baseline of film and acting. In 1986, he landed one of his breakout roles as Sergeant Elias in Platoon, Oliver Stone's unflinching anti-war film based on Stone's own experiences in the Vietnam War. Dafoe's portrayal of the morally grounded, soft-spoken soldier completely contrasted with Tom Berenger's brutal Sergeant Barnes. The performance was so striking that it marked his first Academy Award nomination for Best Supporting Actor. Among the most emblematic scenes of war cinema, it's the image of Elias's death scene. This performance launched Dafoe into the Hollywood limelight and showed that he could make the most depraved roles comprehensible and the most nightmarish roles human. After Platoon, Dafoe went on to build a filmography as intense and as deep as Platoon. In 1988, he played Jesus Christ in Martin Scorsese's film The Last Temptation of Christ, an adaptation of Nikos Kazantzaki's controversial novel. It was a film about a really humanized, conflicted Jesus, a Jesus who could wrestle with divinity and humanity, desire and calling. Dafoe's version of Christ was vulnerable and strived internally, though this did, as well all celestial figures, ignite debate, praised for its honest and committed performance. Dafoe took his role fearlessly and cemented his reputation as an actor willing to play audacious material. Dafoe's collaborations with top directors continued. In a dark, fictionalized account of the making of Nosferatu, he starred in Shadow of the Vampire, released in 2000, as Max Schreck, the eerie, obsessive actor who played Count Orlok in the 1922 classic. He played the role as though it were a fictionalized version of the real-life Schreck, who had been tapped to play himself in the film, as some sort of an actual vampire. His transformation for the role was astounding. He went dramatically out of whack with facial expression and movement to forge a haunting yet strangely sympathetic character. Dafoe's second Oscar nomination was for this role, and in it he showed his ability to go from the physical transformation to the psychological complexity required of his roles. Jump ahead to 2017, and Dafoe was the toast of critics for his role as Bobby Hicks, a well-meaning motel manager with a soft spot for small children in Sean Baker's The Florida Project. Dafoe plays the emotional anchor of the film, Bobby, a compassionate, world-weary, and surprisingly adept on drums, surrogate protector to the children in the motel. The portrayal, with quiet strength, exhibited a softer side of his range in a film that was otherwise chaotic. Dafoe earned his third Oscar nomination for a role that was worlds away from the hardened or eccentric types that had often typified his career. In 2019, Dafoe teamed up with director Robert Eggers again for The Lighthouse, a film that perfectly encapsulated Dafoe's ability to inhabit characters that are surreal, dark, and extreme. In black and white psychological horror, he starred alongside Robert Pattinson. The film is set on a desolate island in the late 19th century. Thomas Wake, Dafoe's character, is a bearded and often unhinged lighthouse keeper who trades barbs with his younger colleague. His performance here was Shakespearean in scope, and Dafoe delivered lyric lines in an old sailor's patois that lent humor to a film that would have been grim and somewhat claustrophobic. His work on The Lighthouse got widespread plaudits, although it didn't get him an Oscar nomination. As well as playing gritty dramas and horror, Dafoe has also carved out a piece for himself in the world of blockbusters, most famously in the role of the Green Goblin in Sam Raimi's Spider-Man trilogy. It's his portrayal of Norman Osborn, a wealthy industrialist with a menacing alter ego, which introduced the character to a new generation. Dafoe's Green Goblin was sinister and charismatic, and not simply one-dimensional. He proved in the movie that he can go from restrained billionaire to unhinged supervillain. This role remains iconic, and Dafoe's laugh and chilling delivery of lines like, I'm something of a scientist myself, became instantly memorable, especially after reprising the role in 2021's Spider-Man: No Way Home. But Dafoe's resume does not rely exclusively on big Hollywood blockbusters or intense dramas. He's played his share of roles in independent and art house movies to keep the traditional structure of storytelling in flux. Another of one of Dafoe's collaborations is with Greek director Yorgos Lanthimos, with whom he teamed up for 2023's Poor Things. The flick was a critical and financial flop. This is a surrealist, gothic comedy. Dafoe is Dr. Godwin Baxter, a mad scientist who revives the character Bella, played by Emma Stone. Dafoe once again slips into an oddball scientist. His chemistry with Stone is what anchors the film's narrative and is another shining mark on his cinematography career. Dafoe's career, spanning almost 50 years, long enough for him to still be nominated for Oscars, is easily valedictory, but he has been denied the ultimate statue 4 times over. While this absence of an Academy Award may have some fans and critics up in arms, the fact that there has not been an award for unconventional actors who continuously innovate what they do is a source of discussion. For Dafoe, the experience of having his varied portrayals of humanity is secondary to awards. Dafoe has added a new chapter in his career, serving as artistic director of the theater department at La Biennale de Venezia for the 2025-2026 seasons. Dafoe's return to theater with this appointment is a return to his roots. Theater has always played a large part in his journey as an actor. His profound influence on experimental theater and work with the Wooster Group early in his career were recognized by La Biennale's board of directors. Dafoe's experience and devotion to the theater will surely mold a promising future for Venice's theater program. Willem Dafoe thinks that for great acting, you have to let go of that self-consciousness and stay fully in the moment. Self-consciousness is about not being there. It's about judgment, he says, a lesson he remembers learning early on in experimental theater, where the passion is about what you do, not what you're part of. This instinctive, raw approach to acting is one that directors like Robert Eggers and Yorgos Lanthimos value because it brings depth and, ultimately, authenticity to his roles. Willem Dafoe doesn't seem ready to hang it up. He's been thriving in a bunch of different roles in his upcoming projects that show off his knack for playing a role that's outside of the box. Willem is all set to star in Late Fame, directed by Kent Jones, in which he plays Ed Saxberger, a forgotten poet rediscovered by younger artists. Also starring is Ed's nightlife partner, Gloria, played by the magnetic Greta Lee from Past Lives, a powerful sexual artist whose presence kicks him back into the art world. The film tackles the subject of how fame alters one's identity, ideas that resonate with Dafoe's own life. Next month, Dafoe will appear in Beetlejuice, Tim Burton's sequel to his 1988 cult classic. Here he's the dead detective, mixing humor and the supernatural. Burton's visual style and Dafoe's trademark quirky approach to playing eccentric characters has fans excited to see what this unique take on a role will look like. In addition, Dafoe reunites with director Robert Eggers in Nosferatu, a remake of a 1922 classic horror. Dafoe's return to this gothic tale has fans excited to see him in a darker, atmospheric role that echoes his best work with Eggers' The Lighthouse. These films demonstrate Dafoe's commitment to doing theatrically challenging, boundary-pushing roles that are as strong as ever and solidify his place as one of Hollywood's most versatile actors. And there you have it. From heavy dramas to the iconic blockbusters of the past, Willem Dafoe has created a career that really distinguishes him in Hollywood. Whether or not he wins an Oscar, he remains unforgettable on screen, thanks to his talent, range, and dedication. But what do you think? Is Willem Dafoe perhaps the GOAT? Leave us a comment and share your thoughts. If you liked this dive into his incredible journey, make sure to like, share, and subscribe to Real Dash for more on the legends of cinema.